hidden revolution powered the machines, the pork revolution. Pork fueled the bodies that built the modern world. Before industry, pork was a seasonal household affair. Cities relied on a small pig belt. Supply was local and limited. Pork was a luxury, not a daily meal for workers. The Industrial Revolution triggered an urban population explosion. Factory labor demanded protein, but supply was collapsing. Pork prices soared 40% in a decade. A nutritional crisis loomed. The first breakthrough, steam-powered feed processing. Railways shattered the distance limit for farming. Transport costs for live pigs fell by 70%. America led the way. Cincinnati and Chicago became meat cap. Gustavus Swift's genius, the refrigerated railcar, 1877. The birth of vertical integration in food. The disassembly line maximized efficiency and yield. Nothing was wasted. Full hog utilization was the goal. Europe adapted. Cooperatives in Denmark, science in Germany. Britain's solution, an industrialized Ireland-Britain supply chain. The most direct result, a price collapse. Pork became affordable. Each tech leap triggered a price crash. Consumption quadrupled. Pork became the primary protein. Protein intake rose 40%, transforming workers' stamina. Medical records confirm better nutrition, fewer accidents, taller children. Canned pork turned lunch into a fast, standardized factory ritual. Eating time itself became disciplined by the factory clock. The pork industry birthed entire urban districts like Packingtown. New capital forms emerged, industrial food giants. The chain created a new divide, contract farmer versus industrial worker. Working conditions were brutal, with high injury rates. The cost, polluted rivers, and the city's smell. Resistance grew. Smallholders protested factory farming. Scandals erupted like the rotten meat crisis in London. Regulation backfired, strengthening trusted factory brands. Food culture adapted. Dishes like schnitzel thrived on standardized cuts. Religious rules bent. Was canned meat fresh for Friday? Tradition and industry merged, even in kosher slaughter. The 20th century pushed the model to its extreme. New 21st century challenges, antibiotics, pollution, ethics. Production shifted globally. China now produces half the world's pork. The next wave, automation. The unmanned factory arrives. A second protein revolution? Plant-based and lab-grown meat emerged. We stand at a new crossroads shaped by the old revolution. The pork dividend was the hidden fuel of industrial growth. From farm to factory to table, a complete system remake. Our food choices are never just about food. Once meat was for celebration, not daily sustenance. The shift from scraps to science, standardized animal feed. For the pre-industrial poor, meat was a carefully hoarded treasure. Railways turned local markets into a national system. The magic and logic of scale. Process more, pay less per unit. Science reshaped the pig itself for modern tastes and efficiency. Every part had a purpose, turning waste into profit. Workers spent far less of their labor time to buy meat. A silent testament. Improved nutrition left its mark in height. The homogenization of the worker's lunch. Convenience at a cost. Infrastructure was built around meat, binding city, and industry. Meat packing was not a side business. It was industrial capitalism. The dividend was distributed unevenly. The ecological cost of concentrated production? Early critics saw the unnatural turn in our food system. Public anxiety about adulterated factory meat grew. Crisis bred opportunity. The power of the brand was born. Marketing created a pastoral myth for an industrial product. A trade-off, abundance and price versus flavor and diversity. Industrialization could accommodate tradition on its own terms. The 20th century logic, confine, control, accelerate. The global scale of meat production's environmental impact. The vulnerability of hyper-efficient, centralized systems. Pork is a global commodity, linking diets and economies worldwide. The end of the line for the brutal manual laborer. The next frontier, decoupling protein from the animal body. New metrics force us to count the hidden costs of cheap meat. Our protein pact with industry is constantly being renegotiated. The foundational bargain of industrial food is being tested. Two visions of nature, as an ecosystem or a production input. The endpoint of the revolution, endless, anonymous abundance. Behind every package is a vast, invisible network. The past is not just a story. It's the blueprint for our present. This was not one invention, but a system of systems. The book is closed, but the questions it raises are alive. It always comes back to this. a simple, desirable piece of food. The cycle may be turning. New choices are emerging. The need for protein is constant. How we meet it is not. We are all part of this system with every purchase we make. The landscape of production is changing once again. This history is a tool for understanding our world. Our cities were literally built by and for this new way of eating. The next revolution will be biological, digital, or both. The ultimate question posed by this history. The story of pork is the story of us, ingenious, flawed, adapting.